Today I am at Lethbridge courthouse in Alberta covering the sentencing hearing for the Coutts Trio, Alex van Herk, Marco van Huigenbos and George Janzen. These three men, who are farmers, fathers and passionate Canadians, could face up to 10 years in prison.
It's unfortunate. This is not what our country representative, even when I served as a police officer.
I spoke with former Conservative Member of Parliament Art Henger, who served as an MP for 15 years and as a police officer for 23 years.
No, I never expected to see this kind of action against peaceful protesters. And I disagree with the prosecutor in the fact that he equates this to violence or aggression that's out of control.
Last year, the trio was convicted of mischief for their involvement in what became known as the Coutts border blockade. This blockade took place in early 2022 during the widespread Freedom Convoy protests, where Canadians across the country demonstrated to pressure Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's government to lift COVID-19 vaccine mandates.
All it would have taken to put an end to every protest and every concern that these men had was for a politician to come and talk to them. But they stayed away. They went and hid, and then they just sent the police in, who now it's obvious that the police are the protecting their political masters. If there was a good solution, it was one that the politicians could have solved just like that. But they chose not to. So they blame the protesters for the imposition and the mandates that were placed on ordinary working people. It cost them a lot.
One of the pivotal moments during today's proceedings was when Crown Prosecutor Stephen Johnson urged the judge to consider the fact that weapons were found at the protest site. The judge pushed back, reminding the prosecutor that the individuals before him had not participated in any such activities and in fact had only joined the protest on the condition that it would remain non-violent. The Crown Prosecutor in his closing statements described the protest as a hostage-taking event of a highway. And what was the crime the three men have committed?
Well, that's a good question. What is it? That they protested and didn't like what the government was doing to them, their families, their businesses? You know, that was a reaction to a government that is tyrannical in a sense. If you impose those kinds of restrictions on people unduly, you're going to get a reaction. And the other interesting thing with this case is that, you know, the argument is, well, why did you just pick these three men and charge them, or the three other ones? Well, that's a very good question, because I was down there at that border, and there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people there, and there were thousands all around them, you know. There were people supporting them from one end of this country to the other, and the politicians were frightened. They were frightened. So what do? They're going to quell any kind of resistance or opposition to what they say. We are God, so we will crush you, and that's what they're attempting to do. I don't agree with that. I think this is that action on the part of government. I don't agree with that. You know, I think these men had a legitimate cause, and they should have listened to them, because they represented a whole raft of other business owners and families and people in this province and this country, for that matter.
Johnston argued that the punishment should serve as an example to deter others from blocking highways in the future.
You know, there was some discussion here about the Charter. There was some discussion here about the Bill of Rights. It's unfortunate, but I'm wondering if these pieces of paper or these documents even are relevant, you know, because we're talking about the state imposing restrictions on the very rights, the God-given rights that are supposed to protect them, of the people that the Charter is supposed to protect, and the state overrode them. So what do they expect?
Well, it's very concerning to hear that from you, who have served decades as a member of Parliament.
Well, I was in 15 years, but at the same time, this has been building for some time. You know, even when I went down there in the 90s, we could see violations then. But now it's become so overt, you know, that you see these actions on the part of the state, and they're on the edge of tyrannical. They truly are. And what do the politicians do? They run and hide. That's what they're doing. They're hiding. So they use the police now, and the police are there. I guess they're protecting their political masters. Is what's happening. It's unfortunate. This is not what our country representative, even when I served as a police officer.
You were also a former police officer.
23 years.
Wow.
So, yeah, I've seen the police officers now are not given discretion, or if they are, they're not using it, but they know what their power is, and they're told by the state to go and do something. They can't even seem to make an evaluation of what's a charter protection and what isn't. So where are we at with our policing even?
The courthouse was packed with supporters, and even the accredited media row was at capacity. Thankfully, the court provided me with a live link to the proceedings, enabling me to follow the case as it unfolds. Do you think these men deserve to go to prison? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for joining me. I'm Mocha Bezirgan for Media Bezirgan. If you appreciate this coverage, please consider donating at mediabezirgan.com/donate to support independent journalism. Your contributions are greatly appreciated. Thank you.